It is 6 o'clock. We'll call to order the Downtown Development Authority Board meeting from, on this day, February 10th. Can we stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you to everybody for attending. I'd also like to welcome our new member of our board, Hillary. Welcome, Hillary.
Yay.
Hi, guys.
This is our first meeting.
Go easy on me.
Can we get a roll call, Jerome?
Stouffer.
Here.
Raska. Yep, I'm here. Brandon.
Here.
Engelmeyer. Here. Elliott. Excused. Coxkey. Herrick. Excused. Algier.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Dave and Holly, I knew were going to be on vacation and asked to be excused. Kari may just be running late, but I'll entertain a motion to excuse those members that are not here.
Motion to excuse.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. You have before you the minutes from the meeting in January. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those. Are there any questions, concerns, changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
Motion to accept as presented. Winkelmeyer.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes from January are now accepted. You also have before you the agenda for this evening. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as submitted.
Motion to accept as presented.
Second?
Can I ask a question?
Sure, can I get a second first?
Second.
Okay.
Winkelmeyer.
Winkelmeyer. Yes.
Well, so there was something that was on the agenda for tomorrow night's council meeting for approval that I thought was coming back before the DDA board for approval prior to that. So is that something that we should add to our agenda for this evening?
Nobody's here to present anything, and I was not notified that
Okay.
that they would be coming back. So, okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Financial reports. We have a beginning balance of $587,093.88. And ending balance of $586,580.88. Any questions with regards to the financial reports that were submitted in the packet? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial report.
Motion to approve.
Second,
I second.
can we get a roll call?
One moment, please.
Okay.
All right. Algier.
Yes.
Stouffer.
Yes.
Raska. Yes. Brandon.
Yes.
Winkelmeyer.
Yes.
Okay, the financial reports are accepted as presented. I will now open up for public comment for items on the agenda. If anybody has any public comment, please step forward, state your name and address. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on. To new business, update on the depot move. I do have an update that was submitted by the project manager that I just wanted to review with everybody. Wolf Movers, and that's the contractor that's actually going to move the depot. We've successfully executed and finalized the $276,000 contract with Wolf House Moving. The down payment has been processed and move dates have preliminarily been scheduled for April. Prior to being able to move the depot, there are some more structural things that need to be done. The last thing we want is to lift that depot up and have it collapse on itself. So we have 3 structural grouting quotes from 3 different companies. And they have chosen the company for that has extensive experience in historic brick structures and historic mortar work. And they will be moving forward with that company. They also have received the proposal from Rowe Professional Services, and that's for surveying, site planning, and construction support. So they are going to be moving forward with that contract. Triumph Engineering, I guess they are the company that will be doing the basement. So there's no updates with regards to that. Power lines, preliminary conversations with CN and Lake State to start work on power line and communication line moves and scheduling for the flagman. And we received an updated plan from Ron Campbell, who's the Oakland County Historical Architect. The plan updates the exact location of the depot as well as the future location of the public bathroom. The depot committee has scheduled a meeting with Ron for this Thursday to address several design considerations. Focus will be on preserving the depot's historic authenticity while ensuring compliance with the requirements for the various historic preservation organizations involved in the project. Action items, they have to move forward with those contracts on the masonry and engineering, complete the basement design. They're hoping to complete the masonry work by the middle of March and completing the engineering survey work by March 1st. So that's just an update on the depot. Next on new business, you should have in your board packet a contract for services for an interim DDA director. We have been diligently pursuing a replacement for Nick. We've had a couple people come before here and interview. We've also met with a number of others and gotten resumes. I finally was able to get it up on LinkedIn, so we have our own LinkedIn page now for the Holly DDA, and I did receive an applicant through LinkedIn. So I've reached out to him and asked if there was a time that we could meet, but I'm hoping that for the next board meeting that we'll be able to bring a number of individuals forward that can sit for an interview. In the meantime, there are a number of things that I feel that as interim DDA director, I'm not doing a good job on. And so we have reached out to an individual, Christina, who has been a DDA director, and she now has her own marketing firm, and she does this. She goes in and acts as a DDA director and helps find the next one and onboard them. We've met with her, we've changed her scope of work, given how much she makes per hour, saying things like, you do not have to pay invoices, I'm not paying you that much money to pay invoices, I can do that for free. But this is where we need you to focus. And there's some things like grants, like applying for the tech grant, getting our website updated. There's some items that have been falling through the cracks that I just don't have time to do. So we would like, given her proposal, to get board approval to enter in a contract with her for up to a certain amount of money. Not that we would spend that much, but I think it would be money well spent. in being able to help us clean up our house and get ready for a new director so that they can come right in and hit the ground running. Do you have anything to add, Jerome?
No, other than, that was the whole intention. Well, you didn't bring up the PA 57, which is a
Yeah.
legal document
Yes.
that we're required to do as an organization, but neither one of us knew about that. And we understand that that has been getting worked on by our former clerk treasurer, Deborah Bigger, but we're not getting any responses from her, and we don't know where it stands. And we stand to lose our TIF funding if we don't get that form in. It's required and should have been in by the end of the year, and we're already in the middle of the second month. So that's one of the things that Christina can step right in and do, and she's knowledgeable about this. We're concerned about those type of things that have been falling through the crack. Not the fluff stuff, but more the business side of the DDA and the legalities of things that we are required to do as a licensed DDA. So that's why we reached out to Christina, and I have a long working history with her. She actually was the DDA director in Ferndale while I sat on the board there, and she has gone on to start her own firm. As Linda said, she most recently sat in and revitalized Romeo DDA, if you want to use it as a point of reference. But yeah, outside of that, we're looking to hire a new DDA director, and there's so many things within our DDA that's not currently up to speed that we both agreed that to have someone come in and kind of put our house in order and have someone then join us as a DDA director with a good foundation in place that'll give them a good starting point.
Are there any discussion from the board members? Any comments?
So what would be our next step? How many board members have talked to this person?
2,
Just
Jerome and
us.
I.
And have you talked financial?
Yes,
Yes,
it's in
the
her
packet.
proposal.
Okay.
And just as a point of clarification, with Nick being gone since September, we have not been incurring a salary. So I've been doing a really poor job for free. So
I
So
wouldn't say
we
you're
d-
doing a poor job.
so-
That's not it. But sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
you don't know what you don't know. And so we have saved a fair amount of money by not having a DDA director. We have the funds available to enter into this contract.
Who's writing the contract or wrote it?
Well, we don't have the contract, I mean, we have this
Proposal.
proposal for services, is what Christina proposed. And like I said, we went back and we refocused some things because of.
Maybe I should have said reviewing instead of wrote. Who's-
Okay.
From our end, who's reviewing the contract?
If it actually is a written contract, then it should go through legal.
Okay, so Gildner.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should, yes. I wouldn't want to sign any contract without legal eyes looking at it.
So are we looking to do the 3-month contract or do like a month-to-month type thing, or?
What I'm asking for is up to that amount for 3 months, and then we would adjust as necessary.
It is discounted if you take the 3 months.
That's the discounted price?
You get
Oh.
$500 off each month for taking all 3 months. But she's applicable to adjusting it if we get some dynamite executive director in here that can hit the running in a month and a half. She's willing to move on. And it would be written accordingly.
But she's also willing to rescope that too, so that if, for instance, we had an agreement up to a certain amount, we were able to get somebody in here in 2 months, we could also use those extra funds with approval from the board to do some training, for our new board members and so forth. We could look at those options, because that's what she does as well.
Right. Well, I've been going back and forth in my mind since I saw this proposal, because I know that there's a need. I personally feel like a lot of the tasks that are outlined in the executive management scope are more of like an administrative assistant type role. And in 2017, when Jerry Walker was our interim DDA director, the Village of Holly had hired an administrative assistant to work out of the DDA office to perform the clerical duties such as monthly reports, social media, website, and other duties as directed at no cost to the DDA. So I personally think that it would be more fiscally responsible to contract maybe for 12 months an administrative assistant to help absorb some of these tasks. And maybe look at a couple of other contracts, because this is kind of a lot of money for a short-term service that works out to quite a bit per hour, considering they're only gonna, the contract presented states up to 15 hours per week.
In the office, I think, yeah, 15 hours where you get 8 to 10
So
on site,
15
yes.
hours per week that works out to quite a bit per hour for the 195 hours if we go with a 3-month contract.
It's $150 per hour. It is, which is not unusual for professional services of this nature. And I get what you're saying, with regards to an administrative assistant. We haven't had one here in the DDA. I don't know that we need one going forward because we are changing the scope of the DDA director. So I think that's something we have to let play out. You know, where Nick spent a lot of time on events, you know, and walking around to the different businesses, asking for, you know, this donation, that donation. That should not be what our DDA director is doing.
Oh, I agree.
And I think we also should try, and I have it on my to-do list, to potentially get an intern. And I want to reach out to Nick through Michigan Works and see if we can't get an intern to do some of those clerical things. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that moving forward with the $2,500 search and onboarding would be a good thing for us to do. But the contract as presented, I'm not really in favor of personally.
Okay.
I think 150 an hour is reasonable for someone that can do the legal forms, the grant seeking, the TIF fund allocation, but what are your opinions on the 3 months? And what do you think so far has been our biggest issue in finding interest from qualified DDA directors?
Well, qualified is the key word, because we've had a number of applications, some of which have had zero qualifications. And so I think it's difficult, given the salary. This is a job that would pay over $100,000 in the private sector, and so you've got to find the right person that is doing it not necessarily for the salary, but is doing it for other reasons and their passion or whatever. And then trying to make sure that we have somebody that's going to move us forward, that has the grant writing skills, that has some economic vitality background, all of those things. It's not easy. Jerome and I did have a conversation on Friday with the assistant DDA director at Lake Orion, and she is interested. We haven't taken it any further yet, but I would like to bring her in at some point, but I'd like to get 3 or 4 people, including the gentleman that applied through LinkedIn, who is also, he's a DDA board, they call him board president, but up in Millington. So I think the issue is really just trying to find somebody that hits the requirements that we are most looking for and at that salary. Yeah. But, when you take a look at some of the things that she can do, that PA 57 report right now scares me because it's late, and it's not something I can just do because you require tax information, and it requires all of the data behind getting our TIF funds, and I just don't have access to that, and Nick never had access to that, so we're relying on Debbie for that. And I know that Lisa, she's in the middle of trying to do a lot of catch-up, you know, from Debbie as well, so, I mean, but that's something that Christina knows inside and out. She, you know, any other required reporting on her 501c3, I don't know what that is.
Well, that's the education the 150 is paying for. It's that kind of knowledge
Yeah,
that we need.
exactly. Not saying that she would do everything on here, this was kind of the things that she said she could do, but we can focus her for the time that we have her, to where we need it most. I just think that if we don't get somebody in here, until the March meeting, you're looking at, you know, April at the earliest before you could onboard somebody.
Well, and Hillary, they mentioned having that clause to terminate services with her early if we found like a rock star DDA director that could just jump in. So with that in mind, is that something that you think might, if we really focused on writing out that clause, would this make it more agreeable to you?
Well, I'm just confused, so, in the proposal, it says grant research and application guidance, it doesn't say writing grants, is this person gonna be writing grants for us, or is it just gonna be finding them and telling us about them? Cause a lot of the things I see, it kinda seems like it's advisory stuff and
Well,
showing us things.
I think
and-
anyone that is due while she's in the office, she would write. For instance, the tech funds. That's due at the end of March. So that would be something that she would write. But if it's something that's not due until May, June, she would give us guidance on how to go forward with that. John, did you have any discussion?
Well, we gotta go forward, so I'm in favor of this proposal. I mean, we've gotta have somebody in here to right the ship. So I'm for it,
Okay,
knowing that we can get out of the contract anytime we want.
right, correct. Can I get a,
So I'll make
A motion?
motion.
can I get a second?
Second?
Can you do a roll call on this one?
I can. Aljar,
Can I ask a question?
you may.
So are we actually voting on 3 months, or are we doing like a month to month? Like, what is the actual?
We're
what are we
voting on the proposal as presented, which is a 3-month proposal with the possibility of ending early if need be.
Okay, no.
Stouffer,
Yes.
Raska, yes. Brandon,
Yes.
Lingelmeyer,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We will work with Christina to onboard her as soon as possible and make sure she has access to the computers and everything else she needs. And actually putting together that formal contract. Okay, we don't have any old business at this time, so I will open up for public comment on anything that you would like to discuss. Please approach the microphone and state your name and your address.
Really? Josh Murphy, 103 Battle Alley. I really feel, I've been doing this for 8 years here with DDA and Main Street. I really feel that we lost sight of Main Street. We have the 4 pillars, and, you know, we've had meetings in the county and everything that said you're not supposed to work in silos where everyone's separate. Everyone has to work together. And I really feel like we lost sight of that over the last couple of years. I mean, look at the lights in the alley right now. They're just hanging down in the middle of the street. And the clock has been wrong for 3 months now. It's the little things. And then the flag's dropped in front of Township Hall. Come on. we need to work on the little things to make our town look great. I have the music on, great. But then the lights fell, you know, I mean, it's, and you said the tech funds, that's me. Tech funds is what we use to keep the music going, the internet going and all that, but we have to have a different conversation about that internet thing. So,
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Any other public comments? Jen? Welcome.
I'm not a stranger.
I know, welcome.
I've been in business for 19 years, Linda.
I know.
117 South Saginaw, Jenny Stillwell. Are you guys aware that tomorrow the parking proposal is being presented to the village council? If you are aware of it, I'm wondering why it's being presented and not brought back to you guys. Because in this December 9th meeting, it was said that they would be brought back to you before it went to village council. And I have the recording if you want to hear it. So I'm curious about why that is. And also, I made my little notes here. And with the parking proposal, with the changing of the parking signs from municipality to public parking, I'm just using that as an example. Is this proposal all for one in terms of the grant that's being seeked out through the public or the private sector and the municipality? Is this whole proposal X has to be done in order to get this grant? So I want some clarification on that as well. And then I'm 1,000 times against any restrictions for our customer base. I think it's ludicrous, and I'm shocked that you all were kind of for it. Not one question was asked in December about that. And a lot of you are shop owners. It shocks me that nobody's appalled by that. So I'm hoping that we can get some more support from the DDA board in that regards to our customer base. Our biggest problem is that we have shop owners, their employees, we have residents, we have personnel from the village and the township that park on South Saginaw and Civic Drive. And I'm for that ordinance to be in place because they shouldn't be there. Those are prime parking spots for our customers. And if we fix that, we're good. I have other things, but, and this is just aside with the parking issues, when it comes to events, I'll just use the Dickens. I think it's a great event. I'm not against the Dickens Festival. I don't want anybody yelling at me. I'm not against it. What I am against is that parking is allowed to monopolize Crapo Park. They took 90% of that parking space with tents and food vendors. If I was a restaurant, I'd be outraged that there's all these food vendors out there and food trucks. Why is these things being allowed and taken away from our businesses that are there 365 days a year? If we kind of monopolize where the parking or the events that happen in Battle Alley, that's why we shut that down. Just put them all there. If they can't do their event within that realm, then they need to cut it back and utilize our businesses that are there, our restaurants that are there, our cafes that are there, our bars that are there. That's what we should be focusing on.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Marta?
Marta Lewis, 115 South Saginaw Street. I also agree with Jenny. We cannot shut down our main street and charge customers for spending a minimum of 2 or 3 hours at a time. We have so many customers that come to our downtown that visit the restaurants, many of the shops. We will lose customers. I only found out about this the other day. So on Friday, each and every individual that came into the store, I asked them how they would feel about limited parking. And I have their name, their phone number. They wrote it down. They were against it. And these are people who shop in the downtown, who come to the restaurants, and they were appalled. They say they come to our town because we are open to all of them. And I was really disappointed when I went to the coffee meeting and heard what they were going to do. We have so many things in the downtown. We have a beautiful downtown, but we don't keep our streets clean. We don't clean next to the curb. I have seen more people fall down between cars, not just in back parking lots, but on our main street. And we do clear the parking. People are not allowed to park on the main street at night. And still the DPW does not come in and clean next to the curb. Our back parking lots are deplorable. They're very dangerous. Our dumpsters, they don't clean around it. It's unsafe. I've never seen it so bad, and I've been here 24 years. And if we're wanting people to come to our town, we're a quaint, beautiful town, we don't have that appearance any longer. I'm out shoveling today to get the water and the excess snow into the grates today, myself, because it's so dangerous. We need, if you're on the beautification committee, what are we doing to clean this up? Our back alleyway. People have to park in these parking lots and come to your business, Jerome. Come to the coffee shop. They can't go walk down the alley. It's really, we have to do something. And now we're going to tell our customer that they have to move within a certain time period. They have to leave. And I'm really disappointed. And I did listen to your meeting also on the 9th. And I went to the coffee shop and listened. And I was shocked when I saw it on the agenda for tomorrow night at the village offices. In the same room tomorrow night. Something has to be done to change it. And our residents, our tenants, the business owners, I've had some of your employees come into my store several times on Saturday and apologize to me that they have to park in front of my store on a Saturday because they can't find a place to park. We do need some parking areas designated for employees so they don't have to park on the main street at the busiest times of the day. So that's my little
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else with public comments? Okay, committee reports. Economic vitality, I know Dave was working on his work plans before he left. He is actually gone for 2 months, so he won't be here next month as well. Do you know of anything else on his reports that need to be brought up?
No, not really. He's been working diligently on trying to establish vacant and available properties within the DDA proper so that the DDA can become a destination. The website will hopefully in the future house all available properties. So if someone's looking to develop or venture into Holly to open a business, we want to create a step-by-step easy way to open a business in Holly and what you need to do and what's required and all that type of thing, as well as have properties and things listed that are available. So I know he's working on that, but how far he's gotten at this point, I don't know.
Okay. Design.
That would be me. Thank you, Marta, for pointing that out. The design committee does work on things such as beautification and things. We are looking at some grants right now for, as I put it, I think our whole downtown, and I'm sure it kind of ties in with what exactly you said, our whole downtown could use a spit cleaning. We have awnings that are nasty and just need to be power washed and things like that, and I'm looking at some grant funds through the design committee that could be available to businesses to do that type of thing and tidy up and clean their businesses. As far as snow removal, that is a DPW discussion. That is not a design committee discussion. We don't really have any jurisdiction over snow removal when it comes to the design committee. But I am in regular communication with the DPW. I send them plenty of photos, and I encourage all business owners to do the same, to send photos, because my philosophy is they might pay more attention to it once somebody decides to sue them after they fall and break a leg. because it's gonna happen, especially with the most recent ice we've had, and it was not attended to. It was horrible. I agree with you 100% on that. I have a mature individual that works at one of my stores that I worry about every day she works. Because she has to come down she parks at the far end of the parking lot, and she has to walk in front of the hotel. I guess the village decided that since the hotel's not open, we don't need to clean the walk in front of there, so we don't do any of that either. So that end of the alley was totally not touched for the first week or two of the ice, but has since been attended to, because I think they get tired of my calls and my phone, my text messages. So I am working on it, although it is a DPW project, not a design committee thing. But I address it as a business owner, just like you do. So I think as business owners, we need to do more of that and reach out directly to the DPW office and just blow them up, because that's what needs to happen. Maybe they'll get tired of hearing from us, I don't know. I am hopeful that it's gonna be spring soon. So that'll be a plus. And with that being said, during the design committee meeting that we had last fall, we started an Adopt a Garden program. I encourage anybody that's interested in adopting a garden to go on our website and sign up for that. I have a new committee member that stepped up and is chairing that for us. Her name is Carol Howard. Many of you might know her. She is going to chair that, and we have many landscape companies that have already come forward that are looking to help us with that this year, which will help hopefully curb any opportunities such as we had in the last couple of years with some tall weeds and not looking good flower beds and things. So we're hopeful that this year the gardens and the aesthetic value of our downtown and our whole DDA district will look much more presentable. So definitely working on that. And that's it for the design committee at the moment.
Okay. In Kari's absence, and from promotions, we did meet to go over all of our events for the year. One of the things that we really are pressing upon our committee members and our other businesses is that our DDA director is not our event coordinator. And so it's great that we want to do all these events, but we want to have a business or a committee member step up and say that they are going to chair this event. And we'll make sure that they have volunteers and so forth, but we have a number of events planned this year, some new ones, some fan favorites, and we will get those postcards printed out as soon as possible. Our next event is one that's being planned by Dana at Fur Baby and Erica at Spruce and Blossoms, and it's coming up in March. And it's similar to the Cupid's Caper that they did last year, but it has more of a fairy tale theme to it. And I think that's probably it for promotions. Organization, we still have to revise our bylaws. That's one of the things that we have to work on. And in preparing for our accreditation, I also came across, we had to do a self-assessment. There's probably some other areas that we need to focus on as well. But that's kind of our top. And also the volunteer event that's coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to do a volunteer recruitment. Hillary's going to head that up at the farmers market. And we're going to really look for people to help support our committees. So hopefully we'll get a couple of warm bodies to agree to help us with that. Village manager.
I just wanted to say thank you to you and your team for all your hard work on the accreditation this week. It's really a testament to all the work that you've put in, that, talking to Tim and the county about how easy this accreditation process was, even in this interim period. So thank you for that. I know that talking about the public act, the 57 issue, talked to Lisa about that a lot today.
Oh, good.
And I know that she's been in constant contact with the county and the township, trying to work out all these issues. And she came onto it last minute as well, and she's been working very hard all day to make sure that this gets taken care of.
Thank you.
And she knows the concern of losing the TIF. And
Yeah.
so we will not let that happen. And looking forward to working with Christina as well, getting her on board however we can. One of the things that I would like to just bring up is that per our last council meeting, we are going to be starting a fireworks fundraising committee for the 4th of July. And so just wanted to put that in everyone's ear. If there's any board members or community members that are interested in participating, I'm going to start building that committee so that we can go back to council and start that process. For the individuals that were asking about the parking proposal, I would be glad to spend some time after this meeting with you and just talk to you a little bit about it, understand your concerns, and hopefully alleviate some of them based on my discussions with Chief Narsh. Definitely afterwards, if we could talk for a little bit, I'd be glad to. And that's all I have.
Okay.
And just look forward to working with everyone.
Awesome. I have just a couple of things. As Tim mentioned, we did go through our accreditation this past week, and it hasn't been formally announced, but we did pass our accreditation. Thank God I didn't want to be associated with the first year in 16 years that we did not get accredited. So yes, we did pass, and they will be doing a formal presentation at upcoming council meeting. So I think that's when we'll use the opportunity to get the word out and let everybody know the importance of that. And coming out of that, we also realized that we need to do a better job with our businesses to explain Main Street and why it's important. And we're gonna have an open house probably the end of March, beginning of April, where we talk about our committees, again, all of our successes over the last year, and answer any questions that folks may have about the Main Street organization. We'll be working soon on our 25-26 budgets. If you remember, last year we adopted 2 transformational strategies. One of them is storytelling and the other one is community serving. And so we want to make sure that we're using those as our guiding light when we develop our work plans and our budgets, and make sure that our budgets reflect what we need to do in the work plans, and the work plans are working toward those goals set out in the transformational strategy. So that is something that we'll begin work on here in the spring. And we've already talked about the PA 57 reports. With regards to the snow removal, I as well have taken pictures, as Mr. Price can tell you, that I did send them, and I'm worried as well because I have elderly customers, and when they step out of their car right onto that ice, that it's very, very scary. The other thing that I have been thorn about is the compactor, and I truly don't know if it's been fixed yet, but the trash that has been, garbage that's been accumulating around that compactor when it doesn't work is just unsanitary, unsafe, and not something that we want downtown. So if it hasn't been fixed, hopefully that is getting fixed pretty quickly.
My understanding is that it has been fixed. One of the problems is, I believe they didn't remove the sign after it was fixed. And so a lot of trash accumulated because people assumed it was not fixed.
Okay.
And so they've been instructed to take care of that, but I'll follow up to confirm.
Okay, awesome. And that's all I have, unless there are any other board comments. Mr. Wingelmeyer?
Well, I'm a little concerned about what Jenny brought up on the downtown parking. And it seems to me, I do believe that when they did the presentation in front of us, that they said that they were coming back in front of us before they were going to take it to the council for approval. I don't remember them asking for our approval. And we went to a vote and said yes or no, or I don't believe we did that. So I'm concerned about that. That bothers me a touch. I don't know if we should have a voice tomorrow, or, I don't know.
April, can you speak to the procedural process for this? Because I really honestly don't know.
Yeah, I've been, and honestly, before tonight, I was asked by 2 or 3 other residents this same question. Wasn't it supposed to come back in front of the DDA first? So, to the best of my knowledge, I would think if we had voted, oh, you can go forward pending you make these edits or something, okay, go straight to council. But if he said he was coming back here, then I am confused as to why it's just going straight to council. So- Oh, not necessary. So now I'm going to turn to Tim with the same question. We just- No, I'm not saying that what you asked, what you stated as a question. I'm saying the question is,
Procedure.
why hasn't he come back here first? That was not an accusation at you.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, this all happened before I came on. You know, I came when it was being presented at the coffee house was like my first day, they started working. However, I'll get back with Chief Narsh, and if, you know, I'll review that and see what was discussed. And tomorrow, when it's presented, that might be a recommendation that it needs to go back, you know, get tabled until it gets the other review. I need to have further discussions with him and see what was actually said, and I believe it, but I just need to have those conversations and see.
Yeah, I would most importantly like to know what has changed since, you know, he received our input and input from the 2 town hall meetings he had. You know, what did they change?
I
based
believe
upon
on the
input?
last page of the document that's within the packet, he talks about the different meetings that he had and outlines the changes that were
Okay.
made.
Okay.
Now, if it is to, upon verification of Chief Narsh saying that he would bring it back before DDA, would tabling be a motion that needs to be approved by council, or would it simply be pulled and tabled?
At this point, because it's already on the agenda, it would have to be pulled by council in order to be tabled like that.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Be
you
voted
will
on.
have a voice there, and that is what I will be in favor
Okay.
of.
Thank you, April, I appreciate that.
And thank you, ladies.
It was Jerry Walker that said it in the meeting,
Oh, it was
that
Walker,
it would
not
come
Narsh.
back, that it would, yeah, Narsh said that it was a brush concept that he was presenting, but Jerry Walker is actually the one that said that it would come back before the DDA board for their, once the final draft was prepared.
Okay,
So I was kind of confused about it myself.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we can only make recommendations. We have no jurisdiction on what they're gonna do, except this council.
Right, I just think in the spirit of being transparent to the
Yeah.
village, that we
That's
should
what- yeah,
follow,
that's what
that the process should be followed as it was stated, is
Yeah.
all.
Well, and if the procedure is written the way that it is, that it goes to DDA, and then it goes from DDA to council, that's kind of with the perception that it's DDA approved,
A
right?
blessed, at least, yeah.
Which it's not DDA, they don't have DDA's blessing yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
Anything else, John?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Jerome?
Yes, a couple things. One, just want to clarify that as a DDA board and DDA functions, our main way of communicating is email and Facebook. So if the DDA office does not have an accurate email for you, you need to make sure that we get one, because otherwise you're going to say, I didn't know about that. But the reality is you did know about it because we sent it out. It's virtually impossible to have 10 different ways of communicating and have communications individual ways for certain people. So email and Facebook is how we are communicating, and I just wanted to clarify that. I also want to bring up the fact that all 4 of our main committees, as you brought up, Josh, have vacancies and opportunities for people to be part of those committees. I know I was fortunate enough that at my last design committee meeting that we have 3 new members, but I welcome more. And any of you folks that are here tonight, anybody that's listening, if you have the desire or interest to help and be involved, we welcome you, because that's what we need. We need helping hands. It makes the workload lighter. And the more hands we have, the more projects we can do. So just encourage people to get involved, because you know, we all see the discussion pages and we see all the comments that get made, and the reality is that, to me, it's just lip service because somebody doesn't want to get involved. So my suggestion is get involved, because we welcome you.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, Hillary?
So I'm just happy to be here, and, and I'm thankful for the people that came tonight. And also, I'm thankful for the volunteers that showed up to go over, our Main Street evaluation, so formally, thank you guys. And then on February 23rd, just to piggyback off of it's February 23rd, we'll be set up at the farmer's market. So if any of you ladies or gentlemen are interested in getting on board with one of our committees, we'll be specifically recruiting, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna turn away volunteers, but my goal is to recruit for our committees, to strengthen our committees, so. And then also, I'm working on a handbook for the volunteers, so maybe I can present that next time at the
Oh,
meeting.
that'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I want to get it in place before we actually have volunteer events for the year, so maybe we can get that
Okay,
implemented as well. And that's it.
okay. April?
As you may have already seen on council's agenda, I have Tarina Greenway as my recommendation to council to appoint to DDA. So that will be reviewed tomorrow. And that is all.
Yay, Trina.
Awesome. Okay, hearing no other comments, it is 6:51 and this meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting will be March 10th, 6 PM, right here. And it will be chaired by our vice chair because I will be on vacation.